How many odds you've overcome in your life? Today we're going to have someone who's overcome several and is going to tell us how she did it and the beautiful life that she's living. Overcoming the odds from corporate ladder to freedom tower. That's from Deb Curtis. This is Now Tell Us. I'm your host, Anthony Morore. At Now Tell Us, we get to have guests come and tell us stories. They come and inspire us. They come and educate us on a subject. And today's guest, Deb, is going to do just that and much more. So, why not join me as we go together to meet Deb? Please remember to share this with all your friends. If you have a question, ask. If you have a comment, we love feedback of every kind. So don't hesitate to give us any feedback that you may have. And now, here we go to go and meet Deb. Let's go. Hi.
Wow. I love that music. Oh my gosh. I felt like I was in a theater with surround sound.
Okay, can we dance?
Yeah, we can dance. Yes. Hello, everyone. And
Yeah,
hello, Anthony.
yeah. Welcome to Now Tell Us. We are happy to have you here.
Oh, my goodness. I'm happy to be here. You make me smile. That was a wonderful welcome.
Yes.
So
Where are you?
I am in the United States in the Midwest
Mm-hmm.
and in a state called Wisconsin. You might know, a lot of people know the Milwaukee Bucks from the NBA because
Mm.
of the Greek Freak.
Oh, yeah.
I love that man. We are so blessed to have him in our
Mm-hmm.
state,
Mm-hmm.
and he loves to go to Chick-fil-A, and he has his own Chick-fil-A count. I think it's a 50 count of their filet nuggets, the breaded ones.
Okay.
And yeah, so he's fun. He just drives an average, used vehicle, although he did buy a nice home for his family, I think, back in Greece. But around Wisconsin, he's just your average resident and goes to the state fair. You can't miss him. He's
Uh-huh.
what, 7 feet tall or so. So
Mm.
anyways, that's where I'm from. If y'all know where the Greek Freak is with the Milwaukee Bucks, that's where I'm located.
Oh, that's beautiful. And guess where I am?
Where are you, my dear?
I'm in Greece.
Come on. Are you kidding me?
I'm not. I'm in Greece.
Oh my
Although I
God.
come from although I come from Kenya, but I'm staying in Greece, and this is where we are talking from.
Maybe maybe if everyone shares this room, we can get the Greek Freak to join us.
That's beautiful. You
I
should.
mean, I have him on my Instagram. I have
Yeah,
him on, yeah. Oh,
that would
wouldn't
be
that be
beautiful.
something?
That
Let's
that would
call
be.
out for Giannis to get on the show
Hey,
today.
everybody, share this and ask Yanis to come on now. Tell us. Let's see
Oh my
how
gosh,
you are.
that would be killer. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
really.
He's he's
Oh,
he's a legend. He's a
you know,
legend.
I gotta tell you a story, Anthony.
Mhm.
Obviously, you know that with the 2022 NBA season, the Milwaukee Bucks were number one. We
Mm,
were the top. We
mhm.
had home field advantage throughout the playoffs. I mean, I thought we were going to do this NBA championship again. And nope, knocked out by the Miami Heat in round one. And Giannis was interviewed after the game by the media, and you know how they just they just want bad stuff,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So they were kind of triggering him about, what do you think about that failure of
Uh-huh.
losing? And
Mhm.
he just flat said, "Oh no, this is not a failure."
I think I saw that. He said, "What
Yes.
failure are you talking
Yeah.
about?"
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's who he is. That's why I look up to him. I love his story too, and you might
Yeah,
know this.
that's where I'm going. I mean, coming from Greece and coming from the odds that you've overcome, I think we've
Thank
something
you.
to share during this episode. Sorry for that. Sorry
Yeah,
for.
yeah. I'm happy to talk about it. I know the story of when they were young, him and his two brothers. They
Mm,
all loved basketball, and their parents could only afford one pair of basketball shoes.
mhm, mhm.
So they would take turns practicing basketball in that one pair of basketball shoes.
Yeah,
I
and
mean,
he used to be a hawker. They spent years and years without proper documentation, and he used to hawk around. Him and his brother and his parents used to hawk around items just to make a living.
man,
But he
now
had
look,
a dream. He had a
wow.
dream.
He had a dream is right. And he still drives it's like a 2015, um, it's like a Suburban, an old big car to fit him in.
Hmm.
So he's still very frugal with what he does, but he also gives back to the community, and other areas. I think he's part ownership of a soccer team somewhere, or I don't know where it is. But anyhow, thank you for allowing me to say where I'm from. That triggered a lot of common ground for us with you in Greece, and maybe, just maybe, we can get the Greek freak to join us. Look at
Maybe.
all your people in the chat here. They're all saying hi and hello.
Yeah, let's see them. Oh, we have. Oh, it's too much. Karim is saying hi. Kalimura. Hello.
Nice.
And some other LinkedIn user that has no name here is saying hi. Hi, everyone. Hi to you.
That's really nice.
Yeah,
Great.
Patrick Njogona is saying hello, everyone. So, everyone out there who's watching us, we really thank you for taking your time and watching us. We appreciate you. Thank you very much. And as you join in this conversation, if you have a question to ask about overcoming the odds, we would appreciate. Or if you have a contribution to make, please put it in the chat and we'll share it here. We will discuss it and we'll keep going.
I love it.
Thank
I
you
love
very much. Now, that's much about Yanni, and we can't exhaust about him in this episode.
it.
Let's come back to Deb.
Mhm.
Deb,
Right.
what do you currently do if we may start here?
Overcoming obstacles. Boy, just like the Greek freak.
Yeah.
And we all have, really, we all have our story. And I believe as we get older, we have to share our stories, uh, just like a lot of the professionals do, to help lift up others
Hmm.
around the world that want to rise above. Because sometimes when you're in it and in what you feel like is a struggle, oh
Yeah.
no, that the struggle is real, but it's preparing you for something bigger and better down the road,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
So um, my personal story, I'll just touch on it, as a child, and just where I was and how I got to corporate, because the meat of my conversation will be the corporate ladder and where I am today. But
Hmm.
as a little girl, my family, my parents, we I was the youngest of three, and we lived in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. We're Milwaukee Bucks on the south side,
Okay.
and I was born. Oh well, I'll say back in '67. So, uh, I am 56 years old.
You don't look it. Now,
Thank you.
you're going to tell us the secret at some point. Okay.
Listen,
Let's keep
thank
going.
you. I am. What? Hey, did you see me put on lipstick before showtime?
Yes, yes, yes,
I
yes.
gotta
That's
brighten
always
up
it's
the
a
face a
makeup.
little bit,
Yeah.
right? That's right, and it's not filters, it's actually lipstick I put on, so
Okay.
but this is all 56 years, all the lines, you see them, and, I still got some face, little chubby cheeks still, but that's okay.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Anyways, so my life as a child growing up in Milwaukee was, when I was young. I was born, and then my parents decided, my father, at the age of 3, to move about 45 minutes away from Milwaukee to a rural area, just so he wanted us kids to be protected, get us out of the city, and kind of live out in the country. Because back then, think about it, back then in the 70s, they were already thinking about crime, and safety of your family and such. Well, we learned real fast in the 70s that it doesn't matter if you're in the city or if you're in the rural area, um, being poor will still find you. And
Yeah.
drugs and alcohol will find its way no matter what part of the world we live in. It just happens.
Mhm.
So my
Mhm.
dad worked full time and my mom was a stay at home mom. And when we moved to the rural areas, she and the neighbor ladies um, got involved, in Valium and just pain meds. It was kind of a drug of choice back then. And
Mm.
long story short, my mom is a sweetheart today. I love her. She's 80 years old. But back then, she had her own challenges and she got involved with the wrong people for her own reasons with drinking and drugs. And
Okay.
I was abandoned as a little girl through that time. I was 9 years old, and by the age of 12, my father finally earned full time custody of me. And I ended up moving in with him. And she
Mhm.
still carried on her lifestyle. But she was an adopted child herself. So she had a very rough beginning in her life.
Mhm.
And my message to all the listeners that are joining us today, you know, forgiveness is key to set yourself free. And
Mhm.
she missed much of my life as a child and even as a young adult. March of 2020, when the pandemic hit, she called me looking for help to get out of what she was in. And we actually moved her in with us at age 76. It wasn't
Mm.
easy because we had to learn how to love each other again and a mother daughter relationship because for the most of my life, she was very quiet and just wanted to be left alone. That's her
Mhm.
style. But today we're fine. I love her to pieces. She's 80 years old. We moved her to the other side of town. We take her grocery shopping and to her doctor appointments. And I'm proud to say, at my age today, we have a very healthy mother daughter relationship. So that story
Mhm.
ended on a good note, like 40 some years later. And
Wow.
yeah, so hang on, people.
Hungry people just have that patience.
There you go.
Yes.
Time heals
And
all wounds, right?
yes, and when you talk about forgiveness, someone who say that forgiveness is not for the other person. Nay, forgiveness is for you. Once you forgive, you're free.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Yes. That's so right on, Anthony. And
Mm.
most of my life, I remember family just being really bitter about the whole situation, which I understand. So, what happened to me, I just kind of became bitter too about the whole situation, but not
Yeah,
anymore. I forgave her and we've got a great relationship. Okay.
that's good.
Thank you.
That's very good.
So, what happens though when you're a child and you're abandoned and you're living in a lifestyle that's not favorable and you struggle? You're looking for love basically in all the wrong places. My dad had left
Mhm.
us, but then he rescued me, and then my mom had left me. She abandoned me. I got to high school, and my dad worked full time and part time to support us. Money was tight still. I was able to walk to high school, which was good. And I just stayed real active, Anthony, in high school. There, I felt seen and appreciated because people liked me, and I was looking for love because I
Mm.
was missing it elsewhere. Right.
Mm. Mhm.
So it came time to graduate. My dad could not afford to put me through college, so I did not have the um, opportunity to attend a university. He wouldn't sign for a student loan, co-sign, and he didn't have the money. And all the other
Mhm.
kids, they were a bit wealthy, and the question was, where are you going to school? What's your university? What are you going to be? And I had to tell them I'm not going to school. And they almost I shouldn't say almost, they belittled me basically because you're not
Mhm.
going to school, to a college. No, I can't afford it.
Mhm.
My daddy taught me, work hard and just keep climbing the ladder and you'll surpass everybody and you'll be fine. So that's where it all started. I love my daddy. He's gone now. And he taught me, if you have a hard work ethic, anything can happen. right? Just like talking
Mm.
about Giannis earlier. Yeah, he had a
Mhm.
hard work ethic for basketball, and look where he is today. I just love his story.
Yeah,
So my
yeah.
first professional career climbing the corporate ladder, which that's the title of the show today, Overcoming the Odds from Corporate Ladder to Freedom Tower. My first job was in the 90s, my professional career, and I was on the job for 18 years.
Mhm.
And back in the day, Anthony, and everybody probably would understand this. You could be loyal to an employer back in the day because they really did take care of you. There were good
Mhm.
benefits, at least here in the States, the benefits were good. And if you worked hard, they kept you and they took care of you. 18
Mhm.
years. Well, here's where things went a bit astray for me. I wanted to be promoted to a branch manager in that company. And
Mhm.
I was told point blank, even though I was performing just as high as all the other men managers, they were all men, all white men
Mhm.
managers. I was told that
Mhm.
they don't promote women. And back in the 90s, you could get away with that. You could
Mhm.
no, nobody was going to do anything about it. They could just tell you that. In addition, they told me because I didn't have that college education on my resume, they couldn't promote me on top of it.
Mhm. Mhm.
So I remained positively persistent and kept telling them, listen, I can do it. Just give me the opportunity and just let me try. So they finally did. They promoted me on what was called a 6-month probationary period, no extra pay. And you know what I did, Anthony? I just kicked butt and passed up all my peers and proved to the men leadership that they needed to promote me. And they did.
Wow.
They did.
Wow.
I
Wow.
didn't get extra pay. I wasn't on the same pay scale as the
Mhm.
guys were, and they were very transparent. They said, "Listen, we usually don't promote women, number 1, and number 2, you
Mhm.
don't have a college education, so we're not gonna pay you the same as the guys." Even though the
Mm.
guys that had a college education weren't performing as good as I was, but they had more pay than me. So,
Mhm.
and that that's the start of me climbing the corporate career ladder. A little bit bumpy. The first step was tough, of 18 years, and all I wanted was that promotion on the top of my resume that I worked hard, had all these accolades, and I thought, Anthony, that promotion would help me in my next career stops to keep climbing that corporate ladder versus
Mhm.
that university education on the bottom of the resume. I thought, okay, since I
Yeah.
don't have that, I can show to them I can do it. I got the fire in the belly to do it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm. Mhm.
Okay.
That's good.
Yeah. So are there any I just want to see if there's anybody saying anything here. Lots of highs. Thank you, everyone.
There's a lot of highs. Yeah, they're
I
just
love
saying
it.
hi, hi. They said about message is a good message about forgiveness, especially. And then MD Mahfuzul Rahman is saying that it's a great talk, or wonderful. Keep up doing great, doing something great in the period of time.
Yeah,
Thank you very much,
that's
all of you.
that's really nice. Oh,
Yeah.
fantastic.
Now, as in that position, you're being given a higher position, but without the pay.
Mhm,
And I got it that you have a dream that this position is going to propel you upwards at some point.
mhm.
But weren't there times when you thought, well, this ain't fair? I should just stop doing what I'm doing because if I've never ever going to be recognized for whom I am, but they're gonna look at my gender, my qualifications, then weren't there a time that you said you were tempted to say, this is enough?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yes. Yes. And to not that I said it to them, I didn't wanna threaten that I was gonna leave,
Mm.
but I think they knew that I really deserved the promotion, and I was positively persistent that if I didn't get the promotion, I probably would have left to go somewhere
Mhm.
else. So they
Mhm.
promoted me, which
Mhm.
I'm very grateful for. There were a lot of good supervisors, of that company, It was just back in the day that was normal. There were a lot of male dominated industries that they didn't
Mhm.
promote women.
Mhm.
And I'm proud to say that my promotion opened up the door where other women after me were promoted. So I felt like I left a legacy with that company, getting
Mhm.
women promoted because they deserved it just as much. And some women had the education and some didn't. So I opened up the door to diversify, employers looking at opportunities that women can do it just as much. So I'm
Yeah,
grateful they gave me that opportunity.
there's always that person who's going to break the barrier, and we thank you for being that
Yeah,
person.
thank you.
Uh,
It's definitely part of my story. So I did leave that employer, Anthony, after 18 years because I wanted to see what more I could do in the
yeah.
banking industry and in business banking and supporting small businesses. And many opportunities came to me along the way. Interviews were still tough, even with the fact that I proved at the top I was promoted and I had top performing accolades. A lot of
Hmm.
employers still declined to hire me because I didn't have that college education. They didn't even want to interview me. But I kept
Okay.
pushing. I kept pushing. I'm like, you have to meet me. You just have to meet me and let's have a talk. So I learned in the next decade, in the 2000s and such, how to be a business banker and how to support small businesses with their lending needs. I was introduced to what is called the SBA, the Small Business Administration, which is in America. And that's an affiliate of our government where banks will receive a guarantee from the SBA up to 75% of the small business loan amount if the business goes under. It's
Mm.
a great program, and all the other countries out there like to hear from me what this program is to take it to their leaders to see if they can put something together to support their small businesses, because we got to keep them alive. They are the heartbeat of our countries. They create employment, and we need small businesses. So
Hmm.
thankfully, a few career stops. I was a business banking portfolio manager, and I was an SBA lender at numerous employers. But I started to see a change as I was attempting to climb that corporate ladder, that there still was a stigma of um, a lot of men in the industry. It's very dominated by men, and just a lot of circle of friends of those guys, following one another from employer to employer, and just having a tight men's circle that, hey, if I go to this bank, follow me and I'll hire you. It's kind of the
Hmm.
trend. It's not. I started to realize it wasn't so much about your performance on your resume anymore as the decades went by. It was more about who you knew that
Hmm.
got you in the door to
Hmm.
an employer. And
Hmm.
if you weren't part of some of these clubs, and I'm not here to bash the white men, but if you weren't part of their circles, you couldn't get in the door. Or if you
Hmm.
got in the door, if you were a white employee, and a female, you would be treated differently than the circle of friends. Meaning,
Hmm.
meaning, um, if anybody needed like an exception to an interest rate on a loan, or a fast turn time on a loan file for a small business to get the SBA loan approved, they would cater to the circle of friends and move them up quickly and leave the rest of us just trying to figure out again on our own. So here I
Hmm.
am again trying to climb the corporate ladder, and I'm seeing as a woman the continued biases that a lot of the leaders have when it comes to a diverse team.
Hmm.
So I'm going to pause there to see if we've got anybody agreeing with that, or if they're feeling that same dismissal, so to speak. You feel dismissed. And if you say anything to someone, whether it's your boss or to HR, You just put a target on your back and now they want to push you out is what a lot of women in the minorities go through internally with corporate. So,
Mm. And Barbara agrees to that, and she says that a lot of deals and promotions were made on the golf course or after our gatherings.
oh yeah. Hi, Barbara. Good to see you. I'm glad you joined. Wow. She has a nonprofit organization called Purse Strings, which supports women, women only. And
Hmm.
she's creating her own club now of women to support women because we have to. And
Yeah.
I'm so glad, Barbara, you added that. That that brought it home. Uh,
Hmm.
um, we're getting better, Anthony, but we are far from where we should be. And here is the issue with that.
Mm.
It's called the corporate culture of silence. And
Hmm.
people will ask me, well, what does that mean? Okay,
Yeah. What does that
I'll
mean?
tell you what that means.
Yeah.
I
Please
lived
do.
in it. I lived in it employer after employer. Men on my team, and they're white men and other women, will see when a boss treats women on the team differently than the men. And even the men know it. They'll admit it in chit chat by the water cooler, right? They do. And they're like, oh man, sorry, Deb, that you're going through this. That just sucks. I mean, yeah, we see it. But when HR is aware of what's going on, they'll interview everybody. And then all of a sudden, it's the culture of silence. Because if they say something, now they got a target on their back. So the
Mm.
other women and men that know what's going on, they won't say anything. They'll live in that culture because they want to hang on to their job for fear of retaliation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's called the culture of silence. And
The
until we
outside.
can break that, I don't think we're ever going to get out of this. It's real, it's raw, it hurts. Everybody sees it, and I bet you many listeners that are watching right now, they're living in it. And not only does it happen internally in corporate, it happens externally because some of the front end lenders, they start to cherry pick. You could also call it redlining, but in a
Yeah.
nice way, I'm saying cherry pick. They cherry pick who they want to work with based on the color of their skin or their gender, thinking this will give me a better shot at loan approval versus this person's color of skin or gender. And you know what, Anthony?
Mm-hmm.
It's happening right here, right now. I have a couple I'm working with right now, and she's experiencing the disparate treatment from certain business brokers that are selling a small business and lenders that are making it very difficult because of the color of her skin. And here's the deal: she's got an MBA on her resume. She can own or operate this business all day long. But because of who she sounds like, they're passing on her. And that's got to
Mm-hmm.
stop. That's got to stop. And the only way it's going to stop is when people like me, who now got off that corporate ladder, can be a voice of reason and help everybody overcome the odds to pull out their own ladder and start to climb it. So I'm just going to
Mm.
pause there. I'm getting fired up. I got to just slow down a little bit.
One day, one time, this thing's gonna happen. That dream is gonna be fulfilled. Uh, and you say that we've achieved at some point. I mean, we've achieved some things and we've come to that level, but we've still got a long way to go. And since our time is catching on us, please would like to know a bit more of what now Deb is doing at
Okay,
this point,
I will.
where we have come to this level. Let's now look at where is Deb right now.
Thank
What's
you.
she doing,
Yeah.
so that we can work towards the
Yes.
what's coming.
And but before I go there, are there any comments you want to share? Because I don't.
We have
I'm
we have quite much. We have quite many. Um, Hi everyone, that's from Bangladesh. Shaheen, thank you very much. We have also wins some who's saying amazing insight. Until you have experienced what you have described, it's difficult to
Oh
understand.
yeah.
Thank you for taking the time. Now,
Hmm.
people who, I mean, will only know what we are talking about once they experience it. And that's
Hmm.
what wins some is.
And that was my passion. It's a great segue. That was my passion that created my small business in 2018. I
Uh-huh.
took the hurts of my past in corporate America, all of those different stops, what I saw internally, what I saw externally, all the
Mm-hmm.
hurts, all the times I was in my car crying coming home because I was treated differently, or witnessing uh, peers of mine pass on even talking to certain applicants just based on what they sounded like. Just seeing all the disparate treatment internally and externally. Finally, I just I have faith. My higher power is God. And I just kept talking to him. I'm like, where do you want me to go with this? What is going on? I mean, I've been dealing with this for 30 years. And
Mm-hmm.
he told me, I want you to create unity and diversity and be a voice of reason. I heard him. He said, I want you to represent women and all minorities to help them rise up and have fair and equal treatment. So that's what created my business. I help individuals. Now, I'm in the United States, obviously. I help
Yeah.
individuals in the United States diversify their life, meaning either keep corporate and purchase finance a business that's established and profitable and absentee owned. Or if you want to get the heck out of corporate, you can buy a business that's established and money making, and the SBA will back up a bank that does the financing and earn a
Mm-hmm.
salary from that business. So my message is my business helps people that are in the same disparate treatment that I was in, not just one employer, my first, my last, and in between. I could tell you all kinds of stories, but we don't have that time right now. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Pull out your own ladder and stop climbing the corporate ladder. You have to diversify your life and your income streams. You can't just rely on corporate anymore. They can pull the string and you're out of work in a heartbeat, especially women and minorities, because we're
Mm-hmm.
not part of the boys club, like Barbara said, on the golf course every day, hitting 18 holes, which I had previous bosses that did that while us girls stayed back in the office and worked.
Mm.
So no more.
Wow.
I'm
Wonderful,
here.
wonderful, wonderful. And we are glad that you're here.
Thank you.
You standing up for them, for each and every one of. If you've heard this message, please can you act on it? And if not you personally, can you pass this message to someone who could work on it and be an example of what is
Yeah. I love.
coming from that discrimination?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, Winsome says that is hurtful. It's so sad and hurtful.
It is, but my
Hmm.
corporate chains are free now, so
Okay.
I can speak to it truthfully, the experience and what I've been through. So I'm going to be a voice of reason for those that can't speak up because of that culture of silence. And we're going to make changes, Anthony. Together, we're going to rise. We're going to rise with, like Barbara, who you put her message up with. Nonprofit organizations like Purse Strings. There's all kinds of organizations that are practicing unity and diversity. And we're going to call out to our leaders in every country that we need to really regulate it and not just put it in written policies, but are the um, managers and the owners of the companies, which are, pretty much all white men, are they practicing it from the top down? Because if they're not, it's not practiced on the front line.
Unity and diversity, unity and diversity.
Yes,
That we gotta
right.
go there shouting that, and we're gonna have many other Yannis stories as we keep campaigning for these.
Yes,
Yeah,
you bet.
as we keep
Yeah.
on pushing the message out there.
Thank you, Anthony.
Yeah, so it's beautiful and we love what you're doing. So what's the big thing in the making? What's in the future, in other
Yeah.
words? What are some of the things that you're working on that we should be very much
Yeah.
aware of?
Well, I am working behind the scenes on putting together a community which people can sign up for to learn how to become eligible to purchase finance and establish money making business. I want people to have a vision that you can't just rely on corporate W 2 wages anymore, especially with
Mhm,
the changes that are happening with AI. Everybody is at risk. So you have to diversify. And I talk about what's called the silver tsunami. And you're like, what's
mhm.
that? The silver
What's
tsunami it is baby boomers are retiring 11,000 per day and that they're gray hair. That's why we call it the silver tsunami. And in that
mhm,
11,000 per day, Anthony, there are small business owners that are looking for women, people of color, anybody that has fire in the belly to purchase finance those businesses with bank financing backed by the SBA. And what's
okay.
happening today is the number one applicant that is taking over those businesses are the white men again, the ones that have been controlling your corporate ladder climb. They have the
Mhm.
money, the experience, their the friendships, and they know how to help one another. Well, I'm here to help women and all of the minorities have a fair and equal chance at acquiring these established profitable businesses. Uh,
Mm.
so that's my heart beating. That's what I'm here for. So that's big. It's time to level the playing field and give fair and equal treatment to everybody as small business owners.
That's beautiful, beautiful. Yes, we love that, and thank you for everything that you've shared. And we are backing your vision. Keep going.
Yeah, thank you. You're backing my vision. I am going to keep going. I'm going to keep going
Okay.
till the day I'm called home. And
Mm,
my hope is I leave a legacy behind that they remember me, the lady that has the headbands on all the time, as creating unity and diversity. Um, Hopefully not just in America, but worldwide, because it's a culture of silence that's everywhere and we got to change it. We need to monitor it. We need to take action for those that are not following through with what their written employer policies are. You can
mm.
write all you want, you can talk all you want, but listen, if you're the upper management and you're not walking it, you need to get out and put some people in those positions that will walk the walk and talk it to back it up.
Yeah, everyone out there, be the voice that is going to bring the change.
Yeah.
Deb is calling out. And people are saying you rock, especially Terry here says you rock, and others
Aw,
too.
thank you, Terry. Good to see you here. I appreciate
Yeah.
it. Yeah,
Mm.
he's
Now, for those people who are not connected with you, how would you advise them to reach out to
you
you?
bet.
In what
Well, my website is my name, debcurtis.com.
Okay.
And my favorite social media platform of choice is LinkedIn. But my handle, you'll find me on all social channels at Deb Jojo, Jojo Curtis, my last name. But if you go to LinkedIn underneath my profile picture, there's a hyperlink that'll take you to signing up for my link tree, which has all my social channels. And you can enter your email there, and it'll be wonderful because then you can connect with me on all my channels.
That's beautiful.
Thank you,
Thank you
Paula.
very much.
I saw that from
Yeah.
Paula. Be the voice. Hey,
Yes,
yes, I'm going to be
Paula
the
says
voice.
be the voice. Yeah. Thank you, Paula, and thank you everyone else who's been here with us for all the contributions. We really appreciate you taking your time. And yeah, go out there and be the voice.
That's right.
That's the call that we are calling you to.
And let's hope the Greek Freak can bring home an NBA championship next season.
Oh, he's never stopping. He's always going after. He will do it. He will do
Yeah.
it.
I
He
was
will do
hoping
it.
he'd show up here today in the comments, but maybe next time, Anthony.
Oh, next time he's gonna show up,
It-
or maybe even be join us in an episode.
That's
The
right.
three of us talking about overcoming the odds.
That's right.
Yes.
Love it.
Catherine, thank you.
Thank
It's
you.
great interview.
Thanks to all
And
everyone
so,
that joined us today. It means a lot to us.
yeah, it really does. It really does. Before we go, what words would you want us to always remember? A few of them.
Yeah. Okay. Two words for anyone that is working in corporate that is feeling dismissed, discriminated, disparate treatment. You're not seen. My two words: don't quit. A good friend of mine by the name of Jack Tuckner, he's an attorney in New York. He represents women in the workforce in America that are going through disparate treatment, dismissal, just awful. Everything that we talked about earlier. Don't quit was the message that he told me, because when you quit, they win. You need to get a partnership with legal counsel to represent you, because if you quit, you can't go after the employer anymore. Okay. So don't quit. And if you need help, look for Jack Tuckner on LinkedIn. You will appreciate him. He also is on TikTok. He does a lot of videos educating women. So don't quit are my two words for today. And my other final three words would be unity and diversity. Let's all practice it and be a voice of reason to turn this around.
Wow, wow. That's very beautiful, Deb.
Thank you.
We really appreciate you.
I appreciate you too.
Everything you're doing and everything you will continue doing, we thank you.
Thank you, Anthony.
And thank you for coming to this show. Now tell us. To everyone out there, thank you. This has been Now Tell Us. I have been your host, Anthony Moirore, and together with our beautiful, wonderful guest today, Deb Curtis, we're saying, don't quit. But as for now, bye until next time. Bye.